What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another patch notes update review. And today we have 11.8 Underworld Unleashed. About 13 hours ago. I'm a little late on this. Usually I'll have it, the video uploaded at this time. It's like 11 right now. It's dark outside, so a little sorry about that, but I should have this uploaded early morning on today's Wednesday, Thursday, I guess, so tomorrow. But yes, we have 11.8, and I've heard there are a lot of things. There's a couple things I know of, but I don't know like specifics of it. And I heard there's a lot, and I don't know if you can see on the bar, but it's a long bar. I gotta sneeze, hold on. I forgot to unpause. I was talking to myself this entire time. Like I left off back on sneeze. I got all the way down to shifter shield, so it's not really a surprise here when I go down to that port, but whatever. I don't even know where I left off because I just moved on from what it was. Yeah, we're just gonna go over this. The URL in this is in the description down below if you want to take a look at it yourself. Let's get into this. So skins. So conquest. Green buff is getting a decreased protection threshold for additional health and mana from 50 to 40. So now you're gonna be able to get more health and mana at a lower protection threshold than you would before. So it's a buff. Blue buff, you're getting an increased restore on God hit by 1% of your missing mana, which is nice. Nothing too crazy, just small changes. Gold totem, you're getting less flat pen, 3 overall once you get to the max point. Verdant totem, increased max health and mana gain from 8 to 12% to 10 to 14. Again, they're going to be increasing that. They're trying to increase that or make green buff more impactful, or at least the totem part of it. Crimson totem increased lifesteal and physical lifesteal by 2.5%, and no one really picked that one up anyways. They're decreasing Gold Fury's health by 250, and they're increasing base gold by 220. I was saying that there was a lot of points in the game, like early on in the game, like 8 minutes in or something like that, where I remember you can't kill Gold Fury at least easily at that point, and so decreasing the health allows you to get it earlier, especially with Bull Demon on the map. You can make an argument that's a solid change. Hasten Fatalis, we're into items now. I was saying earlier that I don't know specifically what I want changed with Hasten Fatalis. I do know it needs a nerf though, in my opinion, because it's just picked up on every single. And of course, this is Joust and Conquest, so it's going to be a little bit different. Conquest has changes like Shifter Shield isn't as broken in Conquest as I think it is in Joust, but I still think it's a broken item for what it gives you. But specifically with Hasten Fatalis, it's dealing an extra 100 gold, which is obviously is a nerf. But I think with how good Hasten is, an extra 100 gold is not going to change it to where it's. I think they need to change something about its passive. There's a reason why they got rid of this item, and I think we're just gonna have to. They're just gonna have to keep playing with this item. It's a consequence of having a lot of fun in this game and adding new items. Is that they're gonna need to new items? Sorry, they're gonna need to figure out a way to fucking. I think they probably should do something like Hasten Ring, if that's what it was. Like I think I remember correctly. I never bought that item. You get a haste for a certain amount of time, and it gets on cooldown. I think they should do something like that. You shouldn't just be able to have Hasten Fatalis over and over again, because although it doesn't give you that many stats, and it gives you pen and a lot of other things, just being able to hit them over and over and over again, it's kind of uncounterable unless you get Mid Guardian, which is just so fucking stupid. Shifter Shield, they're increasing by 100 gold. Not enough, at least in Joust's is concerned. Again, I'm going to say it really quickly. Shifter Shield giving you as many protections as Gauntlet of Thieves, while giving you 250 health. Was it 20 HP 5, 25, some amount of HP 5. I already said the protections, and then it gives you potentially power. It's just too good, and it's only now it's only 150 gold more than Gauntlet of Thebes, and you have to stack Gauntlet of Thebes, and you don't get power. It's just not really a hybrid item. A hybrid item should be a balance between giving some type of power and protections. The protections and power should never go over whatever a designated item like power items or defense items should go. So that's just what, in my opinion, it's not good. Hylianemian Lion, this is where I stopped. I don't know what's going on here. Hylianemian Lion is absolutely dog ass. At least when I tested it for I remember Mike and we went to practice, jungle practice, and we were testing out things. And I would just play a hunter with Aussie or some type of lifesteal because, I mean, every hunter and every almost every game mode you're buying some type of lifesteal. And I was hitting him, and I was just healing for the exact same amount of damage that I was dealing. Now I didn't have crit or anything like that, but again, I still get, when I crit, I get more lifesteal. So I just think not high anemia lion is just dog ass. I don't know what's happening. So I hope it's a buff. Decreased reflect damage from 15 to 12.5. Either I'm missing something completely, I'm just totally wrong, and high anemia lion is actually really good, or the people at high res absolutely have no idea what the fuck's going on. Let me read. Perhaps one of the most controversial items of all time, high anemia lion has caused a stir since its reintroduction to the game. We're glad the fans of this item are having fun, but feel as if it's already time to tone down? I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me in the comment section down below, but I've tested it, and you would rather just build mid guardian mail, especially when people are picking up Fatalis, than high anemia line. They're decreasing it by 2.5%. I never bought this item, and when I did buy it, it just felt super underwhelming. So I don't think that was necessary. Shield of Phoenix, decreased health from 250 to 200. 50 health, that's what we're doing here. Am I just wrong here? Am I just wrong, or are these nerfs dog shit? I might just be completely wrong. I know I don't stick to the conquest meta like on it like I do Joust, but I feel like Shield of Phoenix is just such a good item for what it's old Glad Shield, and they had to get rid of the item's effect because it was too OP, and we're not doing anything with that. 50 health, I don't think does anything. Okay. Decrease health from 200 to 150. That's just tier 2. Aussie definitely needs a nerf. Decrease physical power by 5. That's not a lot either, but I think it's more impactful than any other nerfs that we just saw. Yeah, Aussie has just always been picked up ever since they got flat pen, so giving it a little less power. I think it needs to go a little bit more, a little less. Maybe like 30, 25 power, something like that, because getting something flat pen is huge. But I'm glad to see a little bit of a nerf. I'm still picking up Aussie. Soul Eater and the evolution now only grants flat pen on evolution. That should have just been a thing to begin with. Wing Shard, increased duration from 3 seconds. It was only 3 seconds long. Yeah, I mean, you always picked up golden shards, so it makes sense that they're trying to buff Wing Shard. Still probably overall getting golden shards probably just better, but I mean, this is a little bit better, adding an extra 2 seconds, so I guess that's okay. They are buffing Devourer's Gauntlet though, decreasing cost from 2400 to 2300, extra 100. So an extra 100 or less, sorry, decreasing it by 100 less gold. You still up stack and everything. You don't get the flat pen, and then Aussie's losing 5 power. In terms of Joust, you're always still picking up Aussie. I don't think you're ever going to build Devourer's Gauntlet, especially in this meta with Joust. Conquest might be a little bit different. I still think you're probably going to flip-flop those items. I think Devourer's Gauntlet is still probably going to be a little bit better, or right around the same, which is fine, honestly. If you're going to have those two items, they should be around that. You know, you go this, you build Aussie this game, you build Devos the other game. It should be like an even spread, technically, if you want something to be balanced. Bladed Boomerang increased buff duration from 6 seconds to 10. Okay. No one really bought this item. I like this item ever since they changed the initial part of what Bladed Boomerang was. I think they initially, when they first brought it out, you would hit someone, you crit, I think, and they would just leave it right where the person was, rather than where now it just comes back to you, I think. And so the buff duration is nice, so I like that a lot. Bladed Boomerang hasn't really been touched a lot, and no one really talks about it. I think it's a pretty solid item in terms of crit. Wing Blade, item no one buys, that's super underrated, especially if you're going up against a team with a lot of slows. Increased magical protection by 5. Increased health by 50. Increased crowd control reduction by 10. Nice. 25 protections is not a lot, but you're not building it for, you know, the stats. So giving it a little bit extra stats on top of its niche effect that you want against any type of guy with the slow, like if you're going up against an Atlas and someone else who gives you slow, I think Wingblade is super good. I think it's one of the most underrated items. I love this item. especially if there's any type of slow and I'm like a tank or something, or I'm, you know, damage dealer that wants to be a little bit tanky, like Baron, for example, or guys that just, you know, they don't have a great getaway. I'm like Wing Blade. So I do like this item. And I like that they're buffing it. Dawnbringer, another item. They should really get rid of this item and do something else, or I don't know. No one builds it. I don't think it's a terrible item. It gives you decent stats. Its passive is okay. Let's see. Decreased cost from 2,400 to 2,350, so 50 less gold. Increased health by 50. Increased passive duration by 2 seconds. Cool. Still think it's a niche item on certain gods. It feels weird building this item in anywhere. I just think maybe what it does in terms of its passive, it's just not as impactful as other items are right now, and it's kind of like in a weird spot, especially where to put in your build, because it's not technically a tank item either. So I mean, I really only build this on gods that could get a lot of value out of this, like maybe Cuchulainn and Thor. I don't know. I think it's okay. Not going to be building it though, most likely. Heartward Amulet, a very good item. Decreased cost from 2,100 to 250. I just realized how cheap that fucking item is. That's getting close to Relic Dagger. Relic Dagger's like 1,800 or some shit like that. That's pretty good. I'd still love this item, especially when you're like a true support. Decreased health from 200. Oh, increased health from 200 to 250. That's pretty good. Added 200 mana. I still like building this item, especially with its glyphs. I mean, the silence is niche, but can be good in certain situations. And then Stronghold is obviously really good if you just want to get extra tank stats for yourself. So honestly, I like the item. I think it's always like, anytime you're like, I don't know what to build, but I also want to help my team, go Heartward Amulet if, you know, they have a lot of magical defense. So I actually like this. Spear of the Magus, no one fucking builds. I don't think it's a bad item, but they just haven't done anything with it. Decreased cost from 2,450 to 2,400. This gives percent pen. This used to give flat pen, I think. Now it's percent pen. Decreased cooldown from 15 seconds to 8 seconds. So now you're gonna have the passive on quicker, or the cooldown to increase damage, which is nice. So you almost always have this on. I think that's pretty good. Let me check the item though. I just want to make sure I'm right. Okay, yeah, this is what I was getting confused about, because the effect lasts for 8 seconds, and it can only occur every 15 seconds, where you increase 5% damage. So that's what I was thinking. So you'll be able to apply Spear of the Magus a lot more. Curse Weaver, no one really talking about. I think it's a really good item, and I think the item is actually not working as intended unless they fix it, or maybe their description isn't as it's supposed to be intended. I don't know. Or maybe I'm reading it wrong. Who knows? But you'll see it in the Cthulhu game that I did a while ago with him building Curse Weaver, if you haven't already seen that. I think this item's not as good as I thought it was going to be. I still think it's an okay item on gods who build a lot of mana and health, and those are specifically on gods like Guardians and tanks. Increased max health and mana damage from 5% to 7.5. That's pretty good, man. So I mean, if you have 3k health, which is not hard to do with these items that have been increased or that have been introduced in the game, like Shifter Shield that wasn't in the game before, I think it's really nice. And you can honestly, because actually this might be good on mages too, now I'm thinking about it, because remember, Warlock Staff is a really good item right now. It gives you 500 health, gives you 200 mana, I believe. E-Staff recently got buffed. They're giving you an extra stack, so you're getting even more health and mana. If you add Curse Weaver on that, and it's buff, you might be doing some crazy damage. So I actually want to write that down after this video. I want to test that out to see how crazy that'll be. I'll do like a pre and then after, because this is usually built on your Guardians, and you can put it on your mages, but I think it's better on your Guardians, because your Guardians usually build more health anyways, whereas mages weren't really building like a lot of health and a lot of mana. More likely to build more mana, but a lot of the times you're not strictly trying to build for mana, whereas tanks, you know, every tank's item has some type of health or some shit like that. So I'm actually curious to see the interaction between Warlock Staff, E-Staff, and then adding Curse Weaver too. So that'll be interesting because of the new buff. But that's a pretty good buff. 50% increase in damage. So that's pretty good. We'll see. Rada Tahuti plus Glyphs, increase magical power from 115 to 125. I think that's okay. We need to be a little bit careful on the power creep though, especially when we're in a meta where you get one shot, especially if you're squishy. So we do need to be careful about that, but that's not terrible as long as we're not doing that to every item. Charon's coin, I like Charon's coin. Just as a weird place to put it. But I still think it's a really solid item. Increase gold per flip from 1 to 15. Jesus Christ. But first of all, I don't know why the fuck we were getting 1 gold per flip. Actually, let me look at this, make sure how often you're getting a flip. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make absolutely sure. I know that every time you get a kill or an assist, a god kill or an assist, you do get a flip. I just wanted to make sure I didn't misremember something and it wasn't like minions or some shit. 1 gold every time. So on a god kill or an assist, a coin is flipped. You get heads, health, whatever. But at the end, you also gain 1 gold every time the coin is flipped. 1 time every time you get a kill or an assist in a game, it's just not worth it all. So that's actually not bad. 1 to 15 is fine. 15 gold, honestly, isn't even that fucking crazy either. So that's fine. Doesn't change much of when you build when you build Charon's coin, in my opinion. Stone of Gaia now grants power when the passive is not on cooldown. Now grants power when the passive is not on cooldown. So when the passive is not on cooldown, you just get power. Removed power while the passive regeneration is in process. I forgot. I don't know. I don't remember Stone of Gaia. Let's go look it up real quick. They just changed the item so many times. Okay, so you hit by knock up, grab, pull, knockback, whatever. You will get 7% of your max health, as well as 15 and 25 magical power. 15 physical power, 25 magical. While this regeneration is in effect. So you only have that for 5 seconds. Now, it grants power when the passive is not on cooldown. So when, you just buy the item and you're not knocked up or grabbed or whatever, you just get the power, which should make, so basically, they should it basically just gives you 15 physical or 25 magical power, just except when you get knocked up for 5 seconds, and you don't have that for 5 seconds, and then after it's back on cooldown, or then when it's back off cooldown, then you just have your power. So I guess it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's kind of not that important, but it's better, I guess. Remove power while the passive regeneration is in effect. Okay, so they're just switching it to where that makes sense. Fine, nothing crazy. Equinox. Increased passive damage per level from 2 to 3, so just a small buff. I think Equinox was already a pretty decent item that no one bought, and honestly, I guess people just don't like the item. But I think just small little change isn't too bad. Abyssal Stone. Removed the passive cooldown. Let's go to Abyssal Stone. Okay, so it's 20% negative CDR for 5 seconds. This only occurs every 5 seconds. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually. Okay, wow. I might actually start building that item. Because the problem was it can only occur every 5 seconds, so it'd be on cooldown for 5 seconds, which means, you throw out your abilities or whatever. Yeah, so like gods like Ardio or Arthur, Cucullin, anyone has a lot of abilities, and you might want to go Abyssal Stone, especially if you're going up against a team that has a lot of cooldown, because that's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'll have to think about this because that's pretty good. Erosion, decreased passive cooldown from 10 seconds to 4. Makes sense. I mean, Erosion, I just didn't like this item to begin with, just because of what it gives, and especially with the amount of anti-shield items that we have with Sunder, and then we have items that literally give you anti-shield like Executioner, that one magical item I can't remember the name of, it slows them as well. They buffed it so many times I can't remember what it is. Now I gotta go check it. Hold on. Gem of Isolation, that's what it is. My point is that there's just so many things that do anti-shield now that didn't have before, that I think Erosion just needs to, I don't know. You should still build it if there's a lot of shields and you don't feel like building any of the other items, or Sunder or Horrific, even though I think those are just better. Erosion is an okay niche counter item, so it's good that they're buffing it a little bit at least. Archmage's Gem, no one really buys this, but let's see. Increased magical power from 85 to 120. That's a huge fucking damage spike. Holy shit. Here we go with the power creep. Not really a creep at this point. What the fuck? This is a huge ass fucking... That is basically 40 power. I think that's 35 power though. That's 35 extra power. I guess it makes sense no one built this item because everyone built the other one that give you % increase in damage, but... Okay, might start building this. Let's see how that is. A lot of items in here that changing that I might want to try and test out. True, rejuvenating heart. It is good though that they're buffing and changing a lot of these items that no one built. So, rejuvenating heart, another item that you don't really see. Increased magical power by 10. Increased passive range by 15. Okay, that's pretty solid. Let's see. This item has seen some fringe success in lifesteal-oriented builds, but its utility is not great enough of a boon to opt into versus other. Okay, I still think this item's not that good. I believe this item allows you to heal other people now. They changed it beforehand, the entire thing. The passive range should be pretty big if you're going to build it specifically to help your team heal. So it makes sense. Ooh, Crimson Claws. They're still going on the items no one picks up, which I do like. Decrease cost from 2550 to 2450, so 100 gold. Decrease physical power from 50 to 45. Increase physical lifesteal from 15 to 25. You also get the shield effect too, which in this meta, at least in Joust, you're building tanky, so it might not be bad to instead of get Aussie, if you're gonna build Shifter Shield, to go Crimson Claws. So that's actually not a bad choice, because I believe Crimson Claws actually just gives you health, so that's pretty good too. Let me actually go check. Nope, I'm sorry. This goes off of at full health. You get 15% of your maximum health, which is actually still really good with Shifter Shield. But you're basically getting the amount of lifesteal that you would in Aussie passive, so that's pretty good. I'm actually might start building this. There's a lot of items here that I might have to test out and start building. You might see these come back in the meta a little bit. Pythax piece, no one's built this item in a little bit. Decrease cost by 100. Increase passive physical and magical lifesteal from 9% to 12%. Nothing crazy. Pretty decent buff, but probably not going to be picked up that much. Bancroft's Claw, decreased cooldown from 15 seconds to 10 seconds, so cutting it into a third. Increase max health, damage, and shield. Okay, they're doubling it. Wow. So you're going to be able to get your shields online a lot quicker, and then increase your max health. Increase the shield based on your max health by 1%. So Bancroft's Claw and your gods like Anubis and your Hades might be really good. I think these items are actually really good anyways. It just so happens to be the case that a lot of those gods aren't really good that use lifesteal, like Hades and Anubis. Amulet of Silence, increased passive range from 40 to 55, which is nice. Decreased cooldown from 12 to 8. Look, that's what I'm saying. I like these glyphs, man. The silence is actually pretty clutch. And if you're gonna give them a bigger range and have it more up often, I like that. I might start building that as well. A lot of good changes, honestly. At least they're attempting with these items that no one. I've been talking about this for a while. All these items that they're actually looking at right now just haven't been good, ever. Like in the past, this entire year. Except for Raw Hootie, for example. I guess they're buffing. Increased buff duration from 3 seconds to 6 seconds. No one really builded. Well, that's not true. I built Perfected Rod when I did build Rod up to Hootie on gods that can benefit from that. Like Yanis, E-Shell gods that don't have like a really good getaway, so it gives them, that increased movement speed, for example. Reverent Pridwin, increased shield health from 200 to 225 of your protections. I like this item a lot too. I think the Glorious one has been getting a little bit more play, at least on your tanks, just being able to do a lot of damage with Glorious, especially on like tanky type gods that would do that, like Assassins, for example. You can go like Circuit, for example. Or like a lot of warriors would build the Glorious Pridwin just to do extra burst damage. Especially with the changes with the new items, making warriors and tanks a lot better too. So I'm not opposed to this. I think this item didn't really need to get a buff, but I'll take it. It doesn't break anything. It just makes the item a little bit more, I don't know, warranted, I guess. Breastplate of Vigilance, increased passive range from 60 to 70. Still just a niche item that isn't all that great, just for your auto attack gods. And then finally, Malicious Deathbringer. Passive cooldown reduction now also affects ultimate. I'm sorry. What? Passive cooldown reduction now also affects ultimate abilities. So anytime you hit a god with a crit, I believe it reduces the cooldowns. This wasn't your ultimates. Let's see. Yeah, successfully hitting an enemy god with a critical strike will subtract 1% of all your abilities and cooldown. Except your ultimate ability, which is no longer. Okay, so I gotta think about this more, but like gods who don't really build this, you don't have to worry about it, but like Mercury, you're gonna have your ult up all the time. We'll see though, because with Deathbringer and everything, the amount of times you're gonna be critting, you're gonna kill them right out the gate. Now this might be better for gods that will crit but don't kill you, so you can have your ult up a lot. So if you build tanky but you build like Malicious Deathbringer, for example, and you're autoing them enough, you can do your crit won't be doing a lot of damage, but that's not the point. You want to build that item with not a lot of power so you can keep hitting them, for example, and then just keep subtracting your cooldowns over and over again, so you just have all your abilities up all the time. That might be, that's just my initial thoughts. I don't know. It might be, it sounds like it would be cool and good, but at the same time I could definitely see it not being good. So we'll see. But it was already doing that for every ability, but specifically with your ultimate, it kind of makes sense. E-Shell, we're going on the gods. E-Shell's a really good god, obviously. Even in Conquest. Threads of Light. So this is your one after your first initial. Decrease damage from 70 to 250 to 60 to 240. I gotta tell you, when you get at like the end part of your one in your second part, shit does a lot of damage, even to tanks. So decrease bonus damage from 30% to 25%. I mean, she really needed, her one did so much damage, and it's such on a quick cooldown all the time, you're able to throw it out so often. And with your combo, your 3-2 combo, you almost always hit your one. So I guess a little bit less damage and a less bonus increase. Great end, this is her ult, remove damage mitigation. I like this change because in E-Shell ult, she heals. I mean, they just buffed her ult. And it was warranted at the beginning, but after a while, they just kept buffing it. It's like, you don't even need to hit anybody you don't even hit, I think you just need to hit an enemy god or anyone, and you just keep healing. Whereas before, I think you needed to hit your ally god. I don't remember exactly what it was. And you got damage mitigation, and they buffed the damage mitigation, I believe, or maybe it was Baron, I can't remember. But the thing had damage mitigation, which was super annoying because it lasts so fucking long. So I'm not opposed to this. I like this a lot. Makes it to where, like, you know, if you see an E-Shell ult, you're like, all right, fuck it, I'm dead, I gotta run, I gotta juke. Well, now you can actually hit them and try to kill her. Very similar to Baba. A lot of people run away from Baba, but a lot of times you can just sunder her and just kill her in her ult. And hopefully that's what we can do with E-Shell now. Zhang Kui, Demon Bag, reduced protection per stack from 1.6 to 1.3. We can actually go ahead and calculate that, because I remember at one point they buffed this like 3 different times. He just gets so many protections, and with the 9.5 Reaver, it obviously helped him more. So let's go take a look at that. All right, so this is he has 1.6 now. 1.6 times 30 is your cap for max stacks is 48. 1.3 times 30, and now you are getting 39% at total. Obviously, when you ult, you double it, but that's pretty significant. What was it? I don't even remember. Was I say 48? That's about 10 protections less, so I mean, pretty significant and honestly warranted. King Arthur been really good with Abyssal Stone. We'll see how that goes. And since Phoenix Shield only lost 50 health, I'm pretty sure he's still going to be good. Which is now when I'm thinking about this, we're nerfing a god that benefited off of Phoenix Shield and Shifter Shield. He wasn't in the meta like this before these items. He was just the same god. I'm not saying he didn't need buffs or anything. I actually like seeing King Arthur more often. As much as I don't personally like the god, I think he should be playable and at least solid. But he only became solid when those items came in. So why are we nerfing a Mistress of Nerf? Yeah, why are we nerfing King Arthur when we can just be nerfing the items? Same thing with Ardeo. Ardeo got reverted her one because it was too good with the Phoenix Shield. Whatever. Steadfast, removed HP 5. So that's just taken from his fucking kit. Double-edged sword for me because I hate seeing King Arthur, but at the same time, I don't know why we're gutting King Arthur. He just wasn't good. We need to tone down the items. This is a downstream approach rather than an upstream approach, in my opinion. Overhead slash increase cooldown from 14 seconds all ranks to 16 to 14. So now it just scales based on whenever you leveled up. So you're losing 2% cooldown, 2 seconds cooldown in the beginning of the game. And then hamstring, overhead slash, and his other form, increase cooldown from 14. So basically the same exact thing, making his one not as, when you first level it up, not as good. Whatever. Don't like that. Mulan, obviously Mulan's still very good even after the nerfs they tried to do. Mulan and Medusa, which I see here, which I like to see, they suffered from the same exact thing. They suffered from success. When they just kept buffing them and buffing them and buffing them to a point where they're just one buff away from just being disgusting animal gods, just destroying the battleground. And then what happened even more was the fact that pre 9.5, they didn't get any changes to them. They were already doing a fuck ton of damage. They were already like S tier picks. And then when pre 9.5 came, it's like, oh, everyone just has to decrease protections and health. We're not going to change Mulan or Medusa or anything like that. It's like, oh, okay, so we're just buffing them again. This is another buff. So they're SS now. So now they're bans. Now we just ban them every time. And so they nerfed them one time. Still wasn't enough. Was significant, but not significant enough. Let's see. Training arc. So hopefully we'll get to the point where we're not having to ban them every single time. Increased sword, third rank requirement from 4,500 damage 65. I forgot that they did this. They buffed her so much to where like you could upgrade these super early. Third rank requirement from, so what is that? 2,000 damage. I mean, we'll see. Increase bow third rank from 1,200 to 2,000. You could actually level up your bow really quickly. So hopefully that does something, making her not do as much damage, at least later in the game. This is her third rank. Increased cooldown. This is her 2 by 1 second, which is nice because her 2 she just feels like she always has her cooldowns on. She does just so much damage. So I don't think it changes too much in terms of her damage, but she's gonna scale not as well into the late game and then have a little less cooldown on her too. Still think she's gonna be very good though. Medusa, still very good. Viper Shot, decrease scaling damage per tick from 10% to 8%, so 2%. Acid Spray, increase cooldown from 13, now it scales from 15 to 13. Decrease damage from 280 to 680 plus 95% scaling to 270 to 650 plus 90% scaling. So you're losing 5% scaling and 30 flat damage. Pair that with the other Medusa nerf, and now we got a proper nerf. Now we got like a really good solid nerf. Let's go back and see what the other Medusa nerf was actually. So taking a look back at 11.7, she got decreased damage in her Viper Shot by 2. Increased cooldown, remember, so she got increased cooldown scaling off of that. And then now seeing damage scaling decreased by 2% per tick. And then for her Acid Spray, decreased damage by 5 flat and then 5%, and now it's on an increased cooldown. And then her Petrify, decreased damage was 700 plus 100% scaling, and went down to 95. But now, if we take a look at what it was at 11.7, before 11.7, it was 700 max with 100% scaling. Now it's 650 to 90% scaling. So you lost 10% scaling and 50 power, and remember, she's got increased cooldown as well. So that is a proper nerf. That is a proper nerf. We should see her being able to be countered more often. Still think she's gonna be a good pick, but maybe not an SS ban. We'll see though. Freya, another god that's this pisses me off. This is another god that came in the meta from Fatalis. So why are we nerfing Freya? Why aren't we nerfing the fucking item? Whatever. Fatalis and they increased, or they reintroduced another ring. And then I think they were buffing rings as well. Whatever, bro. And then, oh wait, on top of the fact, they increased like banker. There's just so many items for her to go, but hasten being the biggest one. Whatever. Yeah, let's just nerf all the gods that weren't previously as good as they are now because of the items. Yeah, let's do that. We want to keep the item exactly the same, but we want to just nerf the god themselves. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Maybe they have some type of other process. It just doesn't seem correct in my opinion, but whatever. Decreased damage from 40 to 100 plus 25 to 35. So you're losing 5 power and 5% scaling in her 1. They're also nerfing pulse, increased cooldown from 11 seconds to 12. That kind of blows for you Freya you having your 2 on cooldown over and over and over again is what makes her really good. So it's going to be an extra second. And honestly, when you play Freya, you don't really build a lot of cooldown. You want your rings. Cyclopean Ring actually helped out a decent amount, so you might just have to build Cyclopean Ring all the time again. Increase cooldown by 10, so I mean that should be a decent enough nerf. I still think she's going to be solid because Hasten Fatalis is still a thing. Whatever. Chang'e, Crescent Moon Dance. She's been pretty good too. Not in Joust though. Not in Joust. Decrease damage from 80 to 240 to plus 60% from 80 to 220. So you're losing 20 power and 5% scaling. That's pretty decent. Especially for your 1 you're just throwing out all the time. And then Waxing Moon, her ult, decreased damage from 160 to 420 to 70%. From 150 to 410. So you're losing 10 power and 5% scaling. Nothing crazy. Jingwei, you have not been seeing Jingwei. She got a buff and everything. Increase attack speed per level 1.4 to 1.6. Okay, that's pretty good. That's per level, of course, but that's pretty good. I mean, you notoriously get a stim, so we'll see how much. We'll see. Decrease cooldown from 12 seconds at all ranks to 12 to 10. So you're okay. So your 2 is just up all the time now. Jesus, 2 seconds, and obviously it scales. You're leveling up. I haven't played her so long, but usually you level up her 1 and her 2. Arguably the 3, because the 3 gives you power, if you guys remember. Decrease cooldown from 18 to 16 to 16 all ranks. That's good. An extra 2 seconds. I like how they do that with certain abilities. That's one of the biggest things that I do like what Hi-Rez has been doing, is the difference in cooldown in terms of leveling them up. One thing with Baba Yaga, for example, before you level it, you'd have to level up your 3 to get damage mitigation. So it was at 25% damage mitigation in her 3. You had to level it up to level 5 to get maximum of 35 damage mitigation. Thing is that you're never leveling up your 3 in Baba Yaga over any of the other abilities. So you're staying at 25% damage mitigation until like later into the game. Similarly with Jingwei, you're arguably not exactly the same, because agility does give you other benefits that, you know, Baba's doesn't give. But you know, similarly with the cooldown, you're just getting flat 16 right out the gate rather than having to level it up to get those benefits later in the game, especially if you want to level this up last. Increased air power from 20 to 40 to 30 to 50, so an extra 10 power. Okay. Increased buff duration from 4 to 5 seconds. So Jesus, they really want her to. I mean, to be fair, she hasn't really been good, especially in these metas. So I'm for it. Airstrike, increased damage scaling from 1%, 100 to 10, 110. 100 to 110, which is fine. You don't really use her ult for damage, generally speaking. You usually use it for, like, you know, either leaving or, you know, chasing someone. Sometimes you can use it to get damage, but at least in my opinion, that's whenever I play her, I save my ult to get away, because that's what she's good at. Kumba, where do I start, man? But again, this is good. Buffing and changing a lot of things that just weren't good. Kumba being one of them. Increased base physical protection from 18 to 20. Kumba's first 2 basic attacks not cleave. That's huge. That's actually huge. You know, you do like quick swipes, like 1, 2, which is really nice. I think that's good as well. I think it's similarly with like Athena. She used to not cleave. It just looks like an ability that you'd be able to cleave too, so it makes sense. Oh my. Okay, they're buffing the fuck out of Kumba. Okay. Sleepy. This is passive. Increase revival health and mana from 35% to 40% of his max health. Remember, he also had a buff a while ago to where his passive is almost, its cooldown is always almost up all the time. When his passive ability is on cooldown, Kumba gets 20 HP 5. Okay, so if it's on cooldown, which is not a lot, you're gonna always have it up for the most part. At least, you know, if you die, come back, you should have it up for the next team fight, most likely, depending on how quickly you come back and whatever. But now, if it's not on, if you don't have it up, you just get 20 HP 5, which is a weird stat, but fine. Just randomly give to him. It makes sort of sense, but whatever. Throwback. Decrease mana cost from 60 to 80 to 55 to 75, so 5 mana less. Decrease cooldown by 1 second. You're going to have that up a lot more. Groggy Strike. This ability roots The ability's roots no longer is affected by DR. Okay. That is a little wild. If you don't know what DR is, diminishing returns. Basically, the more times you get hit by CC, the less effective CC becomes. Diminishing returns is basically the more you get hit by some type of CC, the more it diminishes. So, like, you know, if ability stuns you for 2 seconds, but you've just been being hit by crowd control abilities so many times, it's going to, you know, for example, be cut in half. Now it's only like 1 second. Just for example. Doesn't apply to knockups, though. But I think this might be one of the first abilities that isn't a knockup that isn't affected by DR, so that's pretty wild. You're also crippled, remember. They added that. Decrease the duration of the root from 2 seconds all ranks to 1.5 at all. Wait, decrease the duration. Okay, so it's a little bit of trade-off. You're rooted 0.5 seconds shorter, which makes sense a little bit. It isn't affected by DR. Still better overall, obviously. Mighty Yawn now deals 40. Oh, this thing does damage. Plus 30% of your magical power when the mesmerize is broken early. Okay, that was one of the biggest things. If anything, his mez shouldn't give DR, because with the amount of CC this man has, DR just actually absolutely cucks him. Moving on. But this is damage now, but only when you break the mez, which is obviously super fucking easy. So, you know, building items like Contagion is not bad anymore, I guess. Shifted mesmerized duration from 1 second to 3 seconds to 1.5 to 2.5, with adding a little bit more damage that makes more sense. Decrease slow from 40% on ranks to... Okay, so now they're scaling. Okay, so it's a little bit of a shift. It's not just a full buff. Decrease attack speed slow from 30 to 50 to 20 to 40. And then decrease mana cost. Okay, so it's like back and forth, back and forth. Pretty big buff, adding just damage. We'll see how much that actually is, though. But at least you get something, because this 3 just felt just absolutely terrible if you didn't damage. Most of the time when you mez, you almost always damage. Epic Uppercut. Decrease cooldown from 75 to 70 seconds. Those are your short cooldown in his ult. Overall, holy shit, that's a lot of buffs. I think he's obviously a lot better. We'll have to see. One of the biggest things I think is this Groggy Strike and Mighty Yawn. We'll have to see how that is and how that pairs together. Because one of the biggest things was when they got rid of a lot of his damage, he wasn't able to do damage. And so he's just like a CC machine, and it's just too much CC. Because this isn't affected by DR anymore, we shall see. Maui, a very good god. Let's see. Increase base attack speed from 0.85 to 9. Increase basic attack power from 36 to 38. Increase basic attack power from 1.5 to 1.6. So any of you gamers that want to go full ring Maui, now you can. Overall, it's good though. He uses his autos a lot. So Master Fisherman, decrease charge time by roughly 50. Whoa. Decrease charge time by roughly 50%. Increase projectile speed. Oh my god. Oh my god. These changes are wild, bro. Maui is actually really fucking good again. Like really fucking good. They already changed everything, and it was a lot of quality control, and I loved it. It was good because it made him a lot easier to play, wasn't as clunky, and I liked it a lot. Now it's even better. It's even better. Let's see. That's really fucking good. Increase protections from 15 to 35 to 20 to 40, so extra 5. Increase movement speed. An extra 4% movement speed at the end. That's actually pretty good. I like that a lot. And then decrease cooldown in 1 second. Maui is really good. If you aren't playing him, you should, because he is super good now. Year 1, just being able to throw it out. I mean, you remember, you can bring them in quicker, so now you can charge it even quicker, and you grab them. It's just going to be a very fluid ability. Bake, another god that needs the buffs. Not very good. Rough Waters, decrease cooldown from 14 seconds at all ranks to 12. So now they're doing it a staggered approach. So at your max, you're now getting 12 seconds instead of 14, which is nice. Increased damage from 7250 to 7270. Okay, so overall, I mean, you leveled this up the most anyways. So overall, 20% damage increase once you get to the max. Twisting Dive, increased stun duration from 0.5 to 1.5 to... Okay. So now you just get the stun duration of 1.5 at all. That should have just been a thing to begin with, which is nice. So as much as this is a buff, a lot of these are just like quality control, which is nice. So he's going to be a little bit better, but still don't think he's going to be that great. Anubis. How much do we have left? Oh my god. All right, we're gonna run through these a little bit quicker. Anubis, increased base health from 380 to 420. Okay, increased health. Okay, so they're buffing. Keep in mind, they're buffing a god that uses a lot of anti-heal, or uses a lot of lifesteal. So we're increasing base health by 40. It's pretty significant. And increased health per level from 70. Okay, so you're getting an extra 2 health per level as well. So he's gonna be a lot tankier. Sorrow. You know what? As much as I don't play Anubis, I don't really know it. I think this is his passive. Increased duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Let's go look it up. Okay, steals physical and magical protection from target, increasing his... that's right. Steals physical and magical protections. And lasts for 6 seconds. Makes sense, okay. Grant 21 protections, 60% life steal, healing bonus at max stacks. Okay. So that makes sense. That's not what I want to. Makes sense. An extra second. Just having his passive on always up is really good. Plague of Locusts and decrease cooldown by 1 second. Increase damage scaling protect from 20. Ooh. And you know how many ticks that gives you. Let's see. How many ticks does it give you? So you're getting 12 ticks. 0.25 for 3. Doing damage every 0.25. So 4, 8, 12. You're getting 12 ticks. So if you hit somebody with your 1, that's actually pretty good. You're getting an extra, what, 32? Increased damage scaling protect from 20% to 22%. Oh, wait, no. Increased damage scaling from 20% to 22%. Am I reading that right? Okay. That's just a little bit better. Now, I was thinking maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't know. Still good, though. On to Mummify, increased stun duration from 1.6 to 2 seconds to 2 seconds on rank, so very similar to everything else. Making it to where it's just 2 seconds at all times. Overall, don't think he's gonna be good. Still. Yeah, so I don't think that's gonna do much for him. I think they are doing this thing where they're just like buffing and buffing and buffing items. For example, like why can't I think of the item? Bancroft's Talon, a lot of other lifesteal items, and now we're buffing Anubis, for example, which is fair because he's not really that good. I think we might get to a point where he might just be Gucci, really, really fucking good. He might just shoot up in the meta, depending on how often we're gonna keep buffing. Hell, another guy we need to buff definitely. Increase mana per level from 57 to 60. She uses a lot of mana. Hinder is there 2. Decrease mana cost from 60 to 60. Okay, so 60 at all levels. Same with her cleanse and her shift and her stance switch. Repulse, increased damage scaling from 70. Ooh, 10 extra damage scaling. That's pretty good. That's her main damage source too, and that hits like a truck, so we'll see. Increase self movement speed from 15 to 20. Increase allied movement speed. Okay, so they're upping the movement speed as well. Overall, I think this is the big thing. We'll see how much damage that does. I'm guessing we're buffing Hoi because Hoi is not really good in Conquest, but he is in a Joust. Increase attack speed per level from 1.2% to 1.4%. Okay. Decrease cooldown from 10 seconds all ranks to 10 to 8. So you're going to have an 8-second cooldown on your 1. Okay. Dive Bomb. Decrease mana cost from 70 to 90 to 78 at all ranks. Okay. So what is this? The 10th buff that 10 buff that Hoi is? I need to start putting Hoi above any other hunter, I think, because outside of Uller, I think he's just better. This is just we're getting ridiculous. He's just so fucking good, at least in Joust. Play Hoi. Hunbats. I love playing this god, actually. He's super good, especially if you play him at a high level. Infused Strikes. Increase basic attack damage increase from 15% to 20%. Extra 5 increase percent in your, I believe that's your passive. Okay. That's pretty good. This is my go-to god in Conquest when I play jungle. So let's see. Sacred Monkey. Increase bounce range from 40 to 50. Ooh! You're going to be bouncing this monkey all the time. An extra 15. I thought the range was good. Honestly, I didn't think they needed increase range, but I'm for it. So now you can hit, because you can hit, at least in Joust, from tower to tower, you can hit someone if they're like specifically arranged from like where you're at in front of you all the way to like their tower if they're like positioned correctly, the enemy. Now it's going to be even easier, so that's pretty good. Fear no evil, increase deployments from 35 to 45. Oh, okay. This is more like quality control. I actually like this a lot more. If you don't know, when you ult, it's just like a small increase, like a little small movement in your ult. Now it's even bigger, so you can deploy this a little bit longer. So we shall see. That's interesting. That is interesting buff. I like that. Tier, decrease cooldown from 90 seconds to... Okay, so staggering it in his ult. He's going to have his ult up all the time. He builds cooldown anyways, so that's like a 35-second cooldown. Pele, Everlasting Flames for passive. Increased physical power gained from 1.5 per level to 2. Increased duration from 2 seconds. And decreased cooldown to 20. Sheesh. Okay, so instead of getting, what's that, 30 power at level 20, you're getting 40 power now. And now the duration is a lot longer, an extra 2 seconds, and decreased cooldown, so you're getting this up a lot quicker. It's pretty good. If you don't remember, you get power and lifesteal. Eruption, increased inner damage from 60 to 240 to 70 to 250, which is nice. Increased outer damage. So overall, you're getting about 20% damage increase if you hit an enemy guy with all of your knockouts, which is fine. Paleo is, I think, is always going to be a solid god, but for what she does, she just does best. She suicides, and hopefully you get benefits off that. Baka, another god that's not really good right now. Butcher Blades increase passive physical power from 5 to 25 to 10 to 30. Butcher Blades, if you guys... wait, is Butcher Blade... That's his 3. Hold on, I need to make sure. Okay, yeah. So you get your true damage, obviously, and then your physical power. Where were we? Okay, so you're getting an increase in 5 power, which is nice. Regurgitate now deals 20 to 40 plus 10% of your physical power, physical damage every 0.5 seconds while inside the area? Okay, so it's just like it's like an Anubis 3. Wow. That's interesting. Increase cone basic attack duration. Okay, so when you level this bitch, okay, this change is actually fire. I like this change. Now, instead of just crippling you and just the minions being there and doing a little damage, now there's like a benefit of, okay, wow. I like that a lot, actually. 40 power, 40 damage every 0.5 seconds. So every second you're just taking 80 damage. And you have this up a lot longer. I like that a lot. I actually like this. This is pretty fire. I don't know how much is going to change him, but that's pretty good. I like that. The concept, at least. Oh, we're buffing Uller. God damn it, Joust mains. Bladed Arrow. Increased damage. Yeah, let's increase his damage. 60 to 260 plus 70% to 70 plus 270. So you're getting an extra 10 power and 5% damage scaling. Cool. Decrease mana costs by 10. Nice. And it's 3. Increase damage scaling by 5%. Decrease mana cost by 10. Okay, so we're just going to increase damage and mana cost. 2 of the biggest things that you want with Uller. Damage and mana efficiency. Awesome. Now, I don't know how good he is in Conquest. I don't think he's obviously that great if they're buffing him, but who knows? I don't know. High res is questionable at sometimes. But at least in Joust, this is going to make him even more of a man, in my opinion, because people are going to be playing him more, especially at your higher ranks. Vamana is just a god that can just, I guess, never be properly balanced. Let's see what they're doing. Decrease cooldown from 16 seconds to 14, so that's his 1. Right? That's his 1 moving. You knocked him up. I don't play him a lot, but I think that's right. Umbrella Ring, that's his 3, so I do know this is his 1. Increase projectile speed by roughly... But this is good, by the way. 2 seconds is really good. Increase projectile speed by roughly 30%. Okay. Trying to remember. Yeah, it's pretty slow for the most part. So I actually kind of fuck with this. Increase projectile width to better match the art. Makes sense, too, because I think that I'm pretty sure it's pretty skinny for what it's doing. So that's actually more of a quality of control. Quality control, in my opinion, than anything like a really big buff. This is a buff, but... Let's see, Colossal Fury. Increase shield scaling from 0.75% of maximum health to 0.9. So every time that you tick, you're getting 0.9% of max health rather than 0.75. Nothing crazy, just makes him a little bit better, which I'm fine with. He wasn't in the greatest spot, but we need to be careful on the Vamana buffs and nerfs. My girl Discordia. Increase projectile speed by roughly 10%. Another quality control, which is actually, I like that. It's not gonna be, it's only 10%, so nothing crazy. You might be able to see a little bit, but nothing crazy. Erratic behavior, that's her 3. Increased range from 30 to 40. Okay, so you get it was pretty short, but I mean, for what it did, you didn't really need it to be, because you're immune in air when you jump. You didn't need it to be that crazy of a leap, but fuck it. You want to have a big ass leap on Discordia? I'll take it. I'll start playing her more. Let's see. Now also reduces the cooldown of her ultimate by 0.5%. Oh no. Wait. Okay. Hold on. 0.5 seconds per tick spent in the area at all ranks. Okay. So when you level up this ability in certain, now I guess, in her ult, it'll always be 0.5 seconds per spin at all ranks. Whereas in the other ones, once you level it up, you get more cooldown for your 1 and your 2. Which is able to allow you to spam it. So if you don't know, when you stand in her 3, you get increased cooldown in your 1 and your 2. And now 0.5 in her ult. That's pretty good. You're going to have your ults up all the time. So being able to spam out your ult on Discord is going to make her a lot better. And I think that pushes her up a lot. I think she's really good now. And she was already a pretty solid mage, just generally speaking. But now, that little thing here, increase her 3, make her even safer and having her ult all the time. It's pretty good. All right, Hades. Remember again, Anubis got a buff, so Hades has to get one, right? Shroud of Darkness. Decrease cooldown from 14 to 10 to 13 to 9, so an extra second. That's his 2. Devour Souls. That's his 3. Decrease damage from 75 to 235 to 70%, plus 70%, to 75 to 275. Holy shit. He's getting an extra 40 fucking power, plus an extra 15% scaling. To be fair, this ability sucked. I'm gonna be honest. So an extra 40 damage. That's pretty good. An extra 15% scaling. That's really good. That's actually a huge fucking buff. Decreased detonation damage from 10 to 50 to plus 50% to 10 to 30 plus. Okay, so there is a bit of trade-off, because I'm saying that's pretty fucking big. But detonation damage is, I still think this is obviously way better overall. He's gonna be doing some. I'm gonna test him out. I'm gonna be playing Hades a little bit on my Smurf, see how he is. But that's pretty big. Pillar of Agony, increased damage scaling per tick from 30 to 35 per tick. The extra 5% per tick. That's pretty good. He needed it. He actually absolutely sucked assholes. Like, he just was one of the probably worst gods in the game. We'll see how much it pushes him up. If I were to guess, it probably pushes him up a tier or 2. But probably still needs a little bit more work. Kali, I'm not opposed to seeing her not get a buff. So like, I don't like Kali. So let's see. She's getting a buff though, because she's not very good right now. So I suppose increased penetration per level 0.2 point. So they're increasing this by 2. So 0.5 per level. So that's great. Incense, increased power buff from 10 to 30 to 15 to 35. So an extra 5. Nothing crazy, but still very good. Destruction, increased damage scaling per tick from 8% to 10%. Yeah, a lot of the time it wasn't really the damage that was really good. It's just basically her ult. Pretty solid buff, honestly. She's just gonna always do what she does best. It's just whether or not she can get to that point when she's getting level 20 and just shredding and destroying. We'll see. But overall, obviously a pretty solid buff. Finally, Artemis. God, there's so many things we're gonna have to remember. There's so many big changes, and it's mainly the gods. I feel like a lot of the items just weren't it. Increased base health from 450 to 480, making her tanky even better. That tank build, increased health by 3. This is her 1. Enemies taking damage from traps are now revealed to Artemis's team for the. Ooh, that's pretty good. So now the enemies can see it instead of just Artemis being like, "Hey, I just damaged one of them." So now, yeah. So now we can actually see which one on the map got hit by us. Actually, that's pretty good quality control. Vengeful Assault, that's our 2. Decreased cooldown from 16 to 14 to 14 already. So nice quality control. Overall good. Artemis is in a spot where I feel like, you know, she can get a buff. I think she's a solid god and people underrate her, but a buff wouldn't be bad. And that is everything. Let's scroll up and see which ones are the big ones here. Hades, I'm going to be looking at. Discordia is going to be very interesting. Lure is very good. Bakasuro, it's actually pretty sick. I like that. Pele is going to be very good. Hunbat's going to be quality control. A lot of quality control that I like here. Hoi is going to be even better. Hell, that's basically her 3. Anubis is going to be a little bit more tankier and just be able to do more things in his kit. Bake's still not gonna be that great. Maui, oh my god, if I play support, I'm playing Maui all the time. His one is cracked. His one is absolutely cracked. Kumba, oh my god, I need to play Kumba. I just need to see how this feels with the extra damage. You know, no DR on his 2. That's basically the biggest things. His ult's just gonna be on infinite cooldown. But I just want to see how it feels with his 2 and his ult, or in his 3. Jingwei is gonna be pretty solid. Freya's not gonna be as good, but remember the items are still good. I'm curious to see how Medusa and Mulan are gonna fare after this. I think they're probably not gonna be as much bans anymore. If I had to guess, it probably moves them from bans down to like S tier. Isha is not gonna be as potent either. So I mean that's pretty good. Items. I'm gonna be watching my eye on Malicious Deathbringer to see how that is. Bancroft's Claws gonna be pretty good. Crimson Claws might be a better play, especially instead of Aussie, especially seeing Aussie got a small nerf, not crazy, but with Crimson Claw giving less 100 gold less, and then obviously you get 10% increased physical lifesteal, which is basically just Aussie passive. It might just be better to build this on instead of Aussie to get that health shield, especially if you're going to be building Shifter Shield, which is still a very good item to go on every single fucking god. Erosion is gonna be pretty good. Abyssal Stone, I'm gonna see what that is, especially with gods like King Arthur and Ardeo. So guys, whatever. Curse Weaver is gonna be really interesting. I play a lot of mages, so I do wanna write that one down. That one's specifically E-Staff, Curse Weaver, and Warlock Staff. And that's pretty much it. Wingblade is gonna be cool. And then I don't know what the fuck we're doing here. I don't know why we did that. That's kind of really dumb. This is kind of really dumb too, and this is kind of really dumb as well. I don't know what we were doing here, and this one's just not. Now maybe I'm wrong. I always like to hedge myself because I don't actually know until it comes out. These are just my initial thoughts. Could be wrong. Been wrong plenty before. But these core items that I really wanted to see nerfed a little bit more, nothing crazy, just enough to where it still you still pick it up a lot of the times, but not every time on every class. And then this item just, I don't know why the fuck this item just sucks. But that is your 11.8 update patch notes review. What do you guys think of this? I'm always curious to see what you guys think. You know, obviously if I'm wrong, you feel like I'm wrong, if I missed something, let me know in the comment section down below. Discord in the description down below if you want to join. Talk to me, better way to talk to me. Join the community, pretty wholesome community. First to be announced tournaments too, so you'll get those notifications first. Just overall wholesome community, love it. Again, the URL will be in the description down below for this if you want to take a look at yourself. And then finally, memberships are open. $2.99 a month if you'd like to support me. One of the best ways to do it. If not, obviously okay, so you simply watching my videos is good enough for me. But that's basically it for me. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like this content. But other than that, thank you guys for watching.